Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to be moving on to the second special selection of this week. It was supposed to be Sundays, and of course, if you've been keeping up, I was sick over the weekend, so we're playing catch up. This one comes at us from Eltree. It says, it'd be great if you can react to the algorithm pointers. So, let's check out the algorithm pointers. Now, the name sounds familiar, but algorithm is not exactly a very unique name, so it could just be that I'm attributing that to something I know things about. But for some reason, there's something that tells me that I have heard the algorithm before. I don't know. It's a vague thing. I can't really remember if we've checked them out or not yet. So we're gonna look at this algorithm, and the song is It's called Pointers. For those who don't know, pointers are a thing in programming language to point you to another location. And they're called the algorithm. Okay, let's just get into it. I'm expecting some sort of technical metal stuff. Love me my silence. Ooh. Having the drums and the guitar pull into triplets like that feels so good. Holy cow. These guys like to play with weird phrasing. How did we have like ultra death thrash playing a second ago, and now we're like full on dance pop? Now we're going back to the intro to round it out. All right. All right. So that was interesting. Um, yeah, that was interesting. So what we got here is a techno gent band, right? And I can dig that, especially since it's two person. I dig it on a perseverance level, like the fact that these two people went out and did this and continue to do it, I assume. I can't say that the music wowed me. A lot of the interesting parts were done in the techno bits, which removes performance from the equation. And I've mentioned in the past that I have like a love-hate relationship with electronica music because it's well done on a composer side. So I appreciate it because they've created this music. But it also removes the performers from the equation, and that always saddens me a little bit. So I'm like torn on that. But the cool parts in this are the electronica sections, which are programmed sections. That doesn't mean that none of this is performed though. The drummer kills it. He has phenomenal range, going from everything from like dance pop to just I don't even know what that was. Like I think I called it thrashy death metal, but it was just some really fast notes all across the drum kit. Phenomenal stuff. The guitarist does some really cool things with the guitar and some sort of an effects pad. He's dropping samples from time to time, so there's a lot of interesting multitasking going on there. And it looked like he was using a knob to change the pitch on his guitar during the breakdown section. He was strumming a single. Well, he was strumming a couple of strings, but it looked like all of the note modification was being done via uh, the the sample pad with the knobs in front of him. So there's some really cool what is it multitasking going on with the guitarist. I am a little not confused. I'm intrigued, interested in what's going on with the drums though. The dude is playing exactly what I hear, but I don't hear him playing. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, we're going to get into this. So the notes that I hear playing, the cymbals and the snare and the drum kicks, is exactly what he's doing on the kit. But I'm not hearing an acoustic drum kit. I'm hearing electronic drum samples. And there's a very big difference there in tone and texture. They do not sound anywhere near the same. So, being that this is an acoustic drum kit, how is this working? Are they miking the drums and then modulating them to sound like samples? Or is the acoustic drum kit just for the music video and he actually plays on an electric drum kit in the studio? How does that work live? Uh, I don't know. The dude, I'm not saying that he's not playing the drums. He's, like I said, what I see him playing is what I'm hearing. I'm just hearing the wrong textures and the wrong tones, and I'm not sure how the two correlate. I don't know, like I said, if it's just a visual thing where he's using an acoustic drum kit, even though he might use like a sample pad or maybe an electronic drum kit in the studio, or if they're modulating what they're picking up on the mics. I don't know how that works, but what the instrument he's playing is not the sounds that I'm hearing, and that it warps a lot of my understanding of what's going on. If it was just the audio, I would never have guessed that there's a real drummer here. And with the video, it's this weird thing where I'm seeing something but I'm not hearing it, and I'm getting this schism between what I'm hearing and seeing, and it's just not making any sense there either. So I have a lot of questions about how the drums are recorded and performed here. But like I said, the drummer kills it. When I see what he's playing, like I said, he's got range. He's doing a bunch of stuff there. The guitarist plays some very nice melody lines in the middle section there, and also played some really nice keyboard stuff. The keyboard reminds me though that they play around with phrasing in a very interesting way. Their melodic lines emphasize interesting parts of the bar, and it never quite feels like it's in the time that it's supposed to. The whole song's in 4/4, but that piano part that we came into with does not sound like it's in 4/4. And the moments where it kind of does, it doesn't sound like it's in the 4/4 that the song is in. Basically saying that the one beat for the keyboard does not feel like the one beat that the song would be landing on. So there's some really interesting syncopation stuff going on in that. And then also in some of the guitar work. And the drums. Some of the drum patterns got a little bit fun with syncopation and accented notes. So yeah, this song definitely kind of plays around with syncopation a bit. Um, but like I said, I am still just a little disappointed that the sort of the main driving part of the song is the electronica section, which work was put into programming it, but no work was put into playing it. And I get that that's just it just kind of it goes along with the territory, right? There's no way to go around that, especially without a third person. Maybe if they had a third person, they could get somebody on keyboard to play it, but would it be worth it? I think is the big question. Or is it better just to have the backing track for that? That's an answer I can't. That's a question I don't really have an answer to. I would prefer to see somebody on a keyboard playing that, but for an average listener, would it change their reaction to the song? Probably not. And then you also don't know how they're going to work in the dynamic of the band, since it's two people. They know each other, and how's this third person going to change, the band dynamics and stuff like that. So it might not be worth it to do it. And like I said, it doesn't really change the song. It's just more of a personal preference of mine. But yeah, so it's an interesting combination here. Like I said, it's like dancey pop electronica gent. They do the drums and guitar parts have a lot of rhythmic stuff going on there. Very genty. But then there's also the electronica going on in the background, and then the ending is just very dance pop. So very interesting combination of things. I like how their song name is Pointers all in lowercase. Just brings me back to coding, algorithm, then the idea of pointers. Even their album is called Brute Force. I mean, brute force could relate to anything, but it also has some meaning inside of programming, um, and hacking and all sorts of digital stuff. Something, I don't know if this is an album or a show name. They have one called Floating Point. That's programming right there. Compiler opposite. Okay, so this is a programming, thematically programming, at least in their album and song names. They have an album called Compiler Optimization Techniques. The top comment: what tuning are they playing in? Drop C++. That's clever. That's good. Got me a chuckle. So like I do want to like them because they mixed two of my loves, which is programming and music. But this song unfortunately just didn't hit me the way that I would need it to really be intrigued. I will probably check out another song or two, but right now it's one of those things that there's a lot of other bands that are ahead of it that I am dying to check out. We just looked at Vulcan and Bethany, and both of them intrigued me quite a bit. um, and then, of course, if you're part of the Discord, the music channel is always bustling with new music from all over everything, all sorts of genres and time periods. So there's always a new band for me to start listening to. There's lots of recommendations any time of the day. There's something new I can find there, and some of it does catch my fancy. So there's a lot of stuff ahead of the algorithm, unfortunately, as far as things that I would like to dig into. But Eltree, thank you for introducing me to this. Like I said, I am interested in the digital meets metal kind of thing, especially with the programming theme going on with it. It's just unfortunately not as cool to me as some of the stuff we've checked out recently. It's quite unfortunate that this came right after Vulcan and Bethany, because that's going to give me a lot of listening to do. um, if we had a week of stuff that was good but nothing that really blew my mind like those two, this would probably be at the top of my list for me to check out. Um, just on the just for the fact that it's programming based, just to kind of see what else they do with that. But with Bentley and Vulcan right before this, they put up a lot of competition for my time and my attention, unfortunately. But these guys are going to end up in a folder somewhere for me to a reminder to check out more. I just don't know when I'll get around to that. So those are my thoughts on the algorithm pointers. It's where you guys come in, though. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought of them. If you enjoyed them, if you didn't, if there's any aspects that you really loved, or maybe some things that didn't work out for you, go ahead and drop it down there. Start some interesting conversations about these guys. Voice tried to give out. And yeah, comments, description box with some links adjacent to the channel for anything that interests you. The aforementioned Discord, or maybe the Patreon, anything that you might want to check out that is related to the channel but not specifically the channel itself. I will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC, with 1 or 2 new videos while we try to catch up to the release schedule. That does it for me. Remember to always be critical and not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.